You are listening to Package Your Genius, a conversation designed to give you clarity on your calling and serve as a catalyst for your career. I'm your host, Amanda Miller Littlejohn. So today I want to talk about how we can challenge ourselves to rise to the occasion when all of our hard work starts to pay off. So if you are listening to this podcast or you follow me for tips and ideas on how to build your personal brand and get further along in your career or your business, you are likely interested in doing the work like I am. And you may have been working really hard for some time over the years to get to where you are, and you're still in the process of working to get to that next level. But what happens when that next level shows up for you? Have you ever wanted something so badly, desired it with all of your heart, and then when it finally presented itself to you after all of your hard work, you weren't really sure or confident in your ability to achieve it, attain it, own it, have it, work it, do it? I have actually experienced this, and I've seen this show up for people in my life and in my business before. And I wanted to talk about how you can challenge yourself and start to feel more like the person who is ready for the big opportunities that have finally made their way to you. So I wanted to make another comparison and reflect back on this journey of my son and the bicycle that I talked about several episodes ago. If you don't recall, essentially I decided to purchase a new bicycle for my son, and he has really long legs but a shorter torso, and he's actually not that tall for his age range and the kids in his class. But apparently, when you buy a bike, you're supposed to buy the bike based on your leg length. So long story short, I bought him this new bike, but it's an adult size bike, and he's a pretty small guy. And I was really nervous about him riding this bike, him being able to control it. We live in Washington, D.C., so some of the places that he's going to be riding are, in the urban environment. There are streets and cars and people drive fast, and it can be dangerous. So we don't live in the suburbs. We don't live in the country. So he doesn't really have the opportunity to take long bike rides that are miles and miles and miles long, and there are no cars, and it's super safe. And so I was really nervous because he's kind of physically awkward. Like he's kind of, what's the best word? Clumsy? Yeah. So clumsy. He's clumsy. He's kind of, he walks and bumbles about and bumps into things and knocks things over. And he isn't the most careful, measured person. So I'm thinking this is a recipe for disaster. This slightly clumsy, moving fast, not looking where he's going kid, and this large, adult sized bike that's faster, that is not as small and easy to maintain or to navigate as his smaller dirt bike that he'd mastered. But as I mentioned on that podcast, once we brought the bike home and he started riding it, at first at the store, I was really scared because he couldn't seem to steer. He was going all over the place, and he's pretty fearless. So I don't think he always gauges what dangers are around the corner for him. And so I was really nervous, but I took him to the same place that I actually taught him how to ride his smaller bike. And I just let him do some drills. And after about 20 minutes, he had gotten the hang of this bike, and he'd really figured out how it worked. And he applied those same skills that he'd learned while he was riding his smaller bike to navigating on this bigger adult sized bike. It just took him a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. And so I took him out. I decided to take him out and let's like ride around. Usually when I ride with him, I ride in the bike lane on the street and he rides on the sidewalk kind of parallel to me. And so I took him out and we kind of did that. We both were on the sidewalk. I took him a longer route to kind of see how far he could push his body, but also how well he can navigate the bike around all of the, normal things that you may encounter on a bike ride versus this empty parking lot that we'd been practicing in. And so he was doing really well. He was steering and turning and doing really great. So I said, okay, on this next lap, after expanding our territory from maybe 2 blocks to 4 blocks, I said, okay, I'm going to take us 6 blocks out. And then on the way back, I'm going to test how well he can do in the actual bike lane, not on the sidewalk. So I had him get in the bike lane and I got right behind him kind of to the side. So I told him to ride really close to the parked cars and that I was right there behind him. And he was actually really scared at first. He was really nervous because he had never ridden his bike in the street. And so, we're in it. We're in the bike lane and cars were passing by on the left. But I just kind of tried to keep him calm and let him see that he can do this. And, we rode maybe, I'm going to say 4 or 5 blocks in the bike lane. And just to see the confidence in this kid grow from, being shaky and not even being able to steer the bike in the parking lot or the first day I bought it, to riding his adult-sized bike in the bike lane and killing it. Like, he was great. Knowing I was behind him seemed to really comfort him, but also just taking really small steps and incrementally increasing the level of difficulty, the level of challenge, slowly introducing new things. So at first, we made the route longer and then I added the bike lane later. But as I added new things he hadn't done before, I saw his confidence grow. And I really think that that's how we can approach anything that we want to become more confident in, especially something that is building upon a skill that we have essentially been working to master over time, right? So this wasn't Connor's first bike ride. He knew how to ride a bike. He had been riding a smaller dirt bike, a child's bike, for years. He started out with training wheels, then he graduated to the dirt bike, and now he's on his adult bike. And so it's a natural progression. Yes, the bike was bigger at first, but he was able to practice a little bit and quickly get the hang of it and see how it was different from the old bike. And so I feel like for those of us who may be progressing naturally with our careers or our personal brands, if we feel really nervous at first, and that is kind of what I've been hearing from my community, is after you put that hard work in and you graduate to the next level and you don't feel confident, you don't necessarily feel like your ideas will be taken seriously because this is a new level, right? And you're a junior on the new level. Or this is a new stage and this is your first time speaking to a stage as big as this one. These are the big leagues, right? Or this is national television and you're only used to local television. I think that if we can incrementally give ourselves small stretches and small challenges, we can build our confidence and really show ourselves that this, again, we've already done the work, right? This is what we have been working for. And so if that is you, if there is a new level that you're stepping into, and once you get there, because you've been doing the work to achieve it, you've been doing the work to earn this place that you're stepping into, but once you step into it, you don't feel worthy or you don't feel confident and you're afraid to speak up and share your ideas, or you're kind of reverting back to that place when you were a beginner. Remember that you're not a beginner. This is just the next stage, the next phase, the natural evolution of your growth, right? You graduated to this level the same way you graduated to the level you were on before, and you will get the hang of this level with practice, with small challenges, with stretching yourself, and with reminding yourself that you've done the work to get here. So don't shrink. Don't forget that a lot has gone into you getting to the place that you are in now. You deserve it. You deserve the right to be here. People are ready and waiting for your ideas, for you to show up. People are excited for you to share all of the wisdom, experience, and lessons that you learned on level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Like, it's time for level 6 or level 10, but you're only ready, you're only positioned to be at level 6 or level 10 because of levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so don't shy away from the chance to show people what you've learned on your journey. Don't assume that now that you're at this new level, everything you've done up to this point doesn't count. Because just like Connor, he was ready. It was nerve-wracking for me to watch him wobble, but essentially he was ready. He had done the work, with training wheels. He had done the work on his dirt bike. And so this bigger adult bike was the natural progression. And once he had a little bit of time to test it out and just kind of, stretch out and get the hang of it and see how everything worked, he was fine. And that's how you will be if you just give yourself the chance. So if you have graduated to a new level in your career, in your life, in your business, give yourself a chance to stretch out and get the hang of it, because I know you're going to kill it at this level too.